Today on the podcast, I have a beautiful guest coming to talk to us all about Akashic Records, which may be something that you've never heard of before, but that's okay. We're going to help you explore it on a whole new level. So thank you so much for joining me today, Leilani.
Thank you, Christine. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here, and I really feel like this is going to be such an interesting topic at the same time as, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to have a reading with you just to, take it to the whole new level so people are going to get a really unique insight. So, to kick things off, do you want to tell us a little bit about what are the Akashic Records, just to start things off?
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting because a lot of people are like, "What do you do? Are you a psychic?" And while I have a lot of the clairs, like clairsentience, claircognizance, clairaudience, what I do is go higher. So the Akashic Records, essentially, it's an energetic library that houses everything past, present, future of you. So all of your thoughts, all of your emotions, all of your memories, of all of your possibilities for any potential outcomes in any kind of scenarios, any past lives. Really, it houses energetically everything that's tied to you, and every situation, like universally. So every entity, every being actually has their own Akashic records. And the best thing about Akashic records is that not only can you use it to help guide you through your life, through difficult circumstances, or to provide clarity or guidance or truth, shed light on some understanding. It can help you through anything. So it can help you through business. It can help you through personal hardships, some hard things that may come up. It can help you through grief. But the best thing that I love doing, and that is really transformational, is that it also helps you through healing. So anything that you feel stuck in, or like a thought form or a pattern that you may have that you feel like you want to get over or you want to push through, you can tap into the records and heal that, and also like have it tied to the original event so that you actually do heal it.
Wow, wow. Okay, so this is going to be so interesting. So, where did all this come from? How did you discover it?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I have been spiritual all my life. I've been very intuitive, very insightful, but my spirituality has always been my own. I've talked to different different healers doing different types of modalities like throughout my life. And one of my mentors, actually, she had a class on the Akashic Records, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm interested in just learning a little bit more. What is this term that it keeps popping up in the last few years? Everybody's talking about the Akashic Records. So I joined just to deepen my own spirituality. And then from that first class, I unearthed this gift that I had that I didn't realize I actually had in the way in which I have it. So it's been a beautiful ride, a beautiful experience. And yeah, the my favorite thing is that I get to help people. I get to help people transform their lives. I get to provide people with guidance and clarity and truth. And a lot of it is when I'm in the records, just to give you a little background around like how the process works, is that I'll go into the records with somebody's permission. They'll provide me basic information like your name, your birth date, the city that you were born. And then from there, I go in and I tap into your Akashic records, and everything that is being given to me during our session is being channeled. So it's coming from source, it's coming from the divine, and it's being given to me for your highest good at the time of our session. So yeah, it's just such a beautiful, beautiful way. It's a new experience for people to have that provides them a level of richness and fulfillment that most people don't know they have access to.
Mm. And so, was this discovered through some type of religion? Like I'm sure people are going to be like, what is this all about? Like, where did this come from? How long has it been around? Because it's not something that, I mean, I've heard about it in the last few years, but I think before that, unless you're in the circles of like the coaching industry and like, you know what I mean, you don't really hear about it. So, could you give us a little bit of background of, where it started or where it was discovered and what's connected to it?
Yeah, so there was a man, a psychic named Edward Casey, that had really given it a name, but it's in all religions. It's like in the Book of Life, it's talked about in everything because it's this higher level, energetic, universal truth. So no matter what religion, no matter whatever it is that you're tapping into, we're all tapping into the greater universal truth that is the same, right? And so I think only recently it's been really talked about, and really because people are now, given the pandemic, given everything that we've gone through in the last number of years, people are going inward and they're going upward. They're questioning things about themselves, their higher self, their sense of authority, their sense of purpose and being in this world, and they're finding other ways, right? People are moving away from religious, specific religious things, but still staying spiritual and still
Yeah.
going in while going up. And I think that's why we're just hearing it so
Yeah.
much out there, so much about like, what is this thing? How do we use it?
Yeah, you're so right. Like, I think the last few years have been quite, obviously stunting in the way of like people were on this path and then it was like they were shook and then be like, oh, hang on a minute, what's really important to me? How do I want to live my life? Like, am I anywhere? Am I on purpose? Do I have a purpose? Like, it's really been activating for so many people in so many amazing ways, actually. Like, when you talk to people, it's like, well, this is what I took from lockdown, or this is what I took from these experiences. And it's been this real shake up. And I think that people are definitely, even the younger generations are coming through and going, hang on a minute, like, I'm here to live my life. And how do I really want to do that rather than just getting stuck in the system of doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, go through the same path? Like, it's really changing, I feel, and people are really definitely searching for those answers. So, yeah, I love that.
And there's a reason why also a term that's being thrown out right now is like the Great Awakening. So much is being like shooken up and shaken up and like flipped around and over. And like you said, even the younger generation are like, I don't want to work the 9 to 5 and be stuck in a system, a patriarchal system, doing this one thing. Actually, what lights me up? What
Mm.
gets me excited? And there's just so much energy around being in purpose, shining our light in the best way that we can, and being able to utilize this, I think, is just such a gift.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what can someone expect from a reading, or what would they walk away with after that?
Yeah, I love it because I differentiate my time, my readings, my sessions. I call them soul sessions because for me, it's not just a reading. A reading is like, let me just give you the information that you have, that I see, that I'm being channeled to just give it to you. I go deeper. I go into like this is coming up, and this may be a pattern traced to this that may need to be healed. And so on the back end, I'm also working with spirit, with the divine, with source to help heal, transmute some of the energies that's going. So during our session, while you're getting a reading, you're also getting healing, which is a bonus, right? A bonus added to the session time. So yeah, I do hour sessions, or I do 90-minute sessions over Zoom or on WhatsApp, phone call, video, non-video, in person. In person is always the best, but I work with people all around the world. I have clients all over the world. So, it's hard to do that in person, right? When you're working different time zones. So yeah, I mean, I also do group work. I have monthly group healing sessions, sometimes centered around the full moon, or because last month was a crazy astrological month, like the biggest, most
Yes.
intense month of the year, right? So I had a specific healing centered around grounding in March's energy, right? So different things come up in different ways, but it's all beautiful and it's all perfect.
Yeah. Love it. And I'd love to know, like, what's been some amazing things that have come out of readings with you? So, if you were to share a story or two from past clients.
Actually, I just got some feedback. I had a client session in December, and it's just amazing because she reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, and she was going through a lot of health stuff. And at the time, I was given information around the doctors and the medication that she was using and how things needed to change, and also a spirit guide that had came through for her. And we could talk about that a little bit later.
Mm.
But feedback when this woman came to me was like, I listened to your recording and everything happened that you said would happen. I got a new doctor. He looked at my medication. This thing changed. Oh my God. I was talking to my mom about this specific instance when I was a child, and this thing happened. And yeah, the spirit guide that came through was my great great grandmother. And I didn't know that. Right. So these are things that might not at the time like click for everybody. My only job is to channel and provide, right? Like, I don't even know half the things I'm saying, right? I just know that it's my job to give the information because it serves your highest good. And so while I can see a lot of the energy moving through people when we're talking, and spirit is spotlighting different things, it's just so beautiful to get that feedback sometimes from people and be like, oh, you said this, or this still touched me, or I'm still thinking about this. And always after every session with every client, there's immense gratitude for the work that we've done together, for the experience that they've had. I have repeat clients from when I first started doing this work a couple of years ago, that are still coming back today to see me, right? Some of my early clients, one of them was a daughter, and she introduced her mom and her mom's friends to me, and they're all clients, right? And so it's just really beautiful work because the base foundation of the Akashic Records, everything is based in love.
Yeah.
Everything for your higher purpose, everything is from love.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what do people normally think about it? Like when you first have that interaction with people and you're like, this is what I do, what do people normally think it is?
It's interesting because I think every person that does healing work in this kind of way has to go over a little bit of a hump of like, what are people gonna think about the
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
right? Because I come from a background. I was over 15 years. I was in tech recruiting. I headed up, talent acquisition for tech companies,
So
and
different.
very, very corporate, right? But I was still helping people. People were always my bread and butter. It was always important for me to be able to make an impact with people in some way. And then when I shifted into this work, it was like, oh man, now my spirituality is so public. This is what I'm doing now, and everybody knows what I'm doing, and it feels a little bit more vulnerable. But it's beautiful because people are searching for something more. People want something more for themselves. They want to be able to have a new experience. They want to be able to have something that deeply resonates to the core of their being, and while having somebody hold them with love, somebody sees them and knows that they are capable of what their deepest desires are, and that there's options and possibilities to get there.
Mm.
People want guidance, people want direction and truth and clarity, and sometimes they don't trust themselves to get to that result, to get to that goal, to get to that dream. And so having somebody who's unbiased like me, but who can tap in and knows their deepest desires and all that they are and all their authenticity, be able to give that to them, it's a beautiful experience.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I'd love to dive into spirit guides. So you talked a little bit about that. I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about how they come through and the experience that you have with the Akashic records and your spirit guides.
Yeah, so every one of us is born with a couple of angels on our team. So we have angels, but we also have spirit guides, and they could be different beings from the higher planes, from the other side. They could be people that you don't even know, right? Some of them can come through as ancestors or loved ones that have passed, but more than likely a lot of them are people or entities or beings that you don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're here to help us situationally sometimes. So if you're working through a really hard thing in your life, let's say like work transition or something like that, you might have a specific guide assigned to you to help you through the bumps of what that transitionary period is, right? So we have we have a big spirit team, all of us, each of us. We have guides, we have angels, we have loved ones. And what we can do is tap into them at any given time. And what people need to know is that they can only help us if we ask for help. They cannot intervene into our lives if we don't like seek it out, if we don't ask for it, if we don't ask for assistance, because they're not here to like make things happen. They're here to help guide us if we're using our agency and our sovereignty in asking for help. So it's very important to ask for help.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I've been reading a lot more about it recently, which is so fascinating. And even like what you were saying about like the March energy as well. Like there's been some huge shifts in this beginning of this year, and I've had friends going through it, clients going through it, and there's just been this whole up level. I went and did like this huge healing for myself a couple of weeks ago, and it's just been this massive like up level and all these things been coming through. It's been so fascinating. So this, I mean, like this must be like the perfect time for us to do this today. So
Wild, and it hasn't stopped, right, we're right now we're in the shadow phase of Mercury retrograde, but there's still so many things that are happening and shifting and moving, and yeah, it's wild. So it's very important just for people in general. If there's a lot of energy moving around you, stay grounded, stay rooted, so that you don't get completely swept away in what's going on and lose yourself in it, because it's very easy to lose yourself in it and get overwhelmed or not know which direction to take. So having a really good grounding practice helps with that.
100% agree, because I think that one of the hard things with all the different types of modalities that we can tap into, whether it be Akashic Records or human design or astrological support, like all these different modalities that help support us, I think at the end of the day, it's about understanding what it means for you and coming back to you, because sometimes it can get to the point where people are outsourcing their decision making or outsourcing their own intuition to other people or to other things, and basically going, well, I'm going to basically do what they tell me to do, when I actually don't agree with that. Like I feel like sometimes you've just got to come back to your own and be like, what's for me? What do I want to make this mean? And really trust in our own intuition, trust in our own ability to go, what do I want? Like, how do I create what I want, rather than just keep relying on everything that externally gets told to us.
That's such a beautiful point. And this is why I love what I do, because the Akashic Records is everything you. So everything you are being told and given is just validation for what you already know to be true. I'm not actually providing any new information. You might be given a new possibility, but more than likely it's already been in your psyche. It's in it's in your presence, it's in your mind, it's in your heart. But I'm just giving you and showing you that this is a possibility and this is a potential outcome for taking that possibility. And so having something get you back to sense of self, I think is the most beautiful thing that you can do because you lose yourself sometimes, right? It's so hard not to in this crazy world and with the energy is so wild. And so that's such a beautiful point.
So that then brings me to your main offering, which is your deep sense of self package. Tell us a little bit about that. Is that going to be the best supporter for people who do want to come back into their own?
Yeah, my whole thing is, listen, so a lot of people don't know what the Akashic Records are. So get a taste, have a one session before you purchase a package, see if it vibes with you, see how somebody holds space if it's not with me, see if the language is the language that it resonates with your being, and just feel it out, see what comes through, and if it resonates with you, and if this is something you want to continue doing. But for me specifically, what I love doing, and the most important factor of the work that I do is I want to help heal. I want to bring people back to who they truly are, because some of us are walking around this earth not ever knowing who we are, right? And they may be 40s, 50s, 60s-year old, right? And they still don't know who they are or have a sense of like their being and their essence. And to me, that's very sad. I have my own journey of getting to where I am today, and it involves a lot of healing, a lot of deep work, a lot of coaching, a lot of therapy, a lot of spiritual, like so many different resources and factors and modalities and people and support to get me to where I am today. And it's just, there's nothing like falling in love with yourself. There is nothing like finding peace in your heart and your minds because you are happy with how you show up with yourself every day, how your light shines, how you engage through your life with the different things and the different people in it. And that's my goal, is to have everybody I speak with come back to a place of a deeper sense of self and fall in love with who they are through healing, with my help, with spirit's help, right? And I'm so passionate about the work I do. And this is really important. It's really important. And I want people to love themselves.
Yeah. And that's everything. What you just mentioned is literally everything. Like it's any type of modality, I believe, if it's done ethically, is about bringing it back to self, right? Like, because once you are there and you do have that sense of self love and you do have that sense of self trust and you honor that, everything else is so much easier, right? You don't get affected by other people's judgment. You don't worry about making the wrong decision. Like, if you've got your own back, everything else is so much easier, right? Like, you don't, it's so fascinating that you're like, actually, if I know who I am and I honor who I am and I trust who I am and I love who I am, whatever happens is good. Like whatever happens, right? Like it's a whole shift in your consciousness. And I think that so much of this world conditions us out of that, to not trust it, to not believe in ourselves, to not believe that we're worthy enough. And it's that coming back into our own. So I love that you've said that, because it's coming back to that higher sense of self and trusting that you already have all the answers within you. Like everything is a mirror that basically highlights to us what we need to know. And even just coming back what you were saying before, like on it, people are wanting those breakthroughs, but sometimes those breakthroughs can just happen with someone saying something that's just in a different way of saying it, that just activates something within you. Or it could be meeting someone and they show you a possibility, or it could be chatting to someone else about their challenges and realize that, oh, actually, I could see it this way too. Like it's so, sometimes it can be so simple, but yet I think we so conditioned to look outside of ourselves for the answers, that I just love that this brings it back and it's honoring what is right for you rather than going, oh, I'm going to give you the answers kind of thing.
You make such a great point about the simplicity of it all. Even just today, I talked with one of my mentors and he suggested something, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even think to look at it that way. Like, and immediately your mind just expands, because what tends to happen is we as humans, we limit ourselves in so many ways. But if we just keep it simple and we keep our heart open, we can expand so much.
Yeah.
Live a life of expansiveness. It's right. You're just like walking down the street, you're walking tall, you're feeling good, you're really rooted in who you are, and you're happy about it. And that therefore creates peace of mind, and it creates like loving openness. It's just like this ripple effect. And yeah, it's so amazing and beautiful to witness that in somebody.
Yeah.
Even today, I have a client who signed up for this package, and today was her first session in a deeper sense of self. And we went through an I am worthy prayer, right? And we took her in, and even her repeating the words, I can hear the tremble in her voice and the disbelief in the words that she was repeating. And it's like, okay, this is where you are now. Just wait. Just wait. You're going to keep saying these things, and then something will start to click. And it happens so subtly. You may not even be aware that
Yeah.
it's happens so subtly. And then all of a sudden, you're believing the words that you're saying. And it's
Yeah.
the most beautiful thing.
So awesome. So awesome. And you're so right. It can literally be, because I think people expect like, oh my God, like everything's going to change, or there's going to be this massive breakthrough and I'm going to be a different person. But it's actually not. It's all these like subtle little changes. Like it's so interesting that I see that with my clients. Like I work with like clients for like a good period of time. So like 3 months, and they come to me, with all of these challenges and all the way that they're limiting themselves. And we work through shifting all these blocks. But because we do it over multiple sessions, it's like we get towards like even sometimes like 2 months in, and they're a completely different person, and I can see how they've shifted but their consciousness has changed that they forget actually what was happening for them 2 months ago. It's so fascinating. I'm like, don't you remember? Like, this is what you used to say. Like, this is what you were telling yourself was the problem. Now that's not even a thing for you anymore.
That's why it's so important to have support, and people in your team, like physically, even here. But to be witnessed in your journey is a part of the healing process. It's a part of, like, as a coach, the accountability, right? To reflect back what the other person is going through, and just the holding in love, like holding in love, and knowing that this person that you see in front of you can do so much if they can only see it themselves. And that's beautiful.
100%. 100%. Totally agree. Is there anything else that you would like people to know about Akashic Records that we haven't touched on just yet?
So I can take you through the little bit of the process. We haven't really talked about that. So what tends to happen, people give me permission, they give me the information, and then I'll just do like a short grounding clearing exercise just so that we settle into our body, so the energy drops and we're open to receive. And then typically what happens is I will say a pathway prayer to open the records. And the pathway prayer is the access to open your Akashic records. I typically do it for all new clients. I don't always do it unless the energy I feel needs to settle a bit and it helps ground us. I could just kind of go in like that, but I'd like new clients to have like the full experience of like going in. And then what tends to happen once I'm in is that spirit will just give me and I'll just go. And a lot of the time, clients will come in with questions and they may already be answered before they actually get a chance to ask them. But they're redirected and the energy has shifted, and that question that no longer resonates for them, right? And so, and I give my clients, they can record the sessions at if they like at any given time, but just with the caveat, as long as you know that if there's deep healing work that happens in the session and you go back and you listen to the session, it can take you back to that energetic level that you don't want to be back in.
I totally agree. Yeah, totally understand. I have that happen as well. Like sometimes clients will want to record my sessions, and I'm like, yeah, we'll record the strategy side, but then when it gets to the healing, we stop the recording because you're right. Like once we've healed it, it's gone. Like we don't need to revisit it.
Don't need to revisit it. And this is what we do as humans. We go through the story, we revisit over and over and over again. So all that healing work, you just got to keep, it's a cycle.
Yeah.
We want to move past that cycle. We want to move through that energy. So while I say to clients, feel free to record, I personally don't think you need it. You can write down most important things for you during the session that you want to remember, definitely, but you don't want to stay in the same vibrational energy.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Amazing. So, shall we dive in?
Let's dive in. Okay, great. So you're seated. I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes. Feel your feet on the ground, connected to the earth. Take a deep, soft breath in through the nose. Exhaling out loud through the mouth. Another deep, soft breath in. Exhaling out loud through the mouth. I'm sorry. My dog.
It's okay.
Okay, one last letting go breath in. Exhale through the mouth. My dog is working on his throat chakra. He has a lot to say. He needs to get it into alignment. So I'm going to go ahead and say the pathway prayer to open up your records. I call upon Source, Divine Masters, angels, guides, loved ones, star councils, and keepers of the Akashic Records. I ask that I be one with divine truth and perfect integrity and alignment as I access Christine's Akashic Records. Through grace and love of the highest power and with the deepest gratitude, I ask for divinity to pave the way. Okay, your records are open. So spirits, there's just so much love and appreciation for you because everything you do with integrity. Everything you do with heart and integrity and in service of other people. Because for you, the biggest joy is to be able to see the smile from somebody that you work with, to be able to touch a life in a way that that they may not have been before. And this, what's coming through is that this has been important for you. This has been something for you since you were a little girl. Like some at the age of 6, there was something about they're showing me that you witnessed something. It was a kindness, and it may have been like a subtle act, but you witnessed kindness and you saw the results of what that kindness did, and you were in awe. You were like awed by it, and you were like, I want to do that. I want to do that for people. I want to give that to people. Like, you were always a happy little girl. Is that true?
Yeah, totally.
You were very extroverted. You loved making new friends. You loved pulling people in, creating groups, and you know, like I'm just, they're showing me each year of you like growing up and like going through grade school, and it was like you were the center of a lot of worlds going on around you because you made people feel welcomed and inclusive, like included in something that felt bigger. You don't even realize actually how much of an impact that you've made for a lot of people in your life. And they're even just showing me a friend that you had in 5th grade, someone that you had in 5th grade that was going through a rough time, and you may not actually even know what she was going through, but your friendship, it helped her be out of a house that was really hard for her to be in. Does this resonate? Do you know who I'm
Yeah,
speaking of?
I think so. I have to check the like how old I was, but yeah, I think so.
And she's still, it doesn't feel like you guys are still friends just because of schools and whatnot, but like she still thinks of you fondly and is like grateful for that. And what they're saying is that this is the impact that you have for people, that even later, like you still hold space in someone's heart in a way that just it's it's tender and it's sweet and it's with good sentiment and with good impact. And it's beautiful the work that you do because your heart is so open and expansive and you want to take on more. They're showing me that you have more business ventures that you want to do, that you want to get into. Is that true?
Yep, working on a new one at the moment.
Okay, more. And I don't know if this new one, if you are looking to be connected and networking with the right people, or you're looking for someone specific to help you with something. Is that true?
In my main business, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Um, you're going to be introduced to somebody that feels like when you meet this person, it'll be like, oh, there's a ding. Like there's something about this person that like I feel like I should tell them what I'm doing. And so do that, like follow the urge when you meet this person because it feels like you're meeting them through a friend. I don't know if you go to networking events, but it feels like an introduction where there's people around you. And share that because it feels as though there's a beautiful potential collaboration and partnership,
Okay.
and it that you're looking for, that you actually want. You want to be able to like have that bouncing ideas off of somebody else, have that like sanity check, right? That sometimes we need, like, am I dreaming too big? Is this like logistically, like, are we able to logistically like move forward and do this step by step? So it feels as though this is a really good partnership for you that will be really, really fruitful. Yeah. There's also there's an idea that you have for another venture, yeah? That you haven't quite moved
I'm
step.
kind of looking at changing parts of my business at the moment, and then I'm just starting a new venture with my sister.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
You have questions about that one? Or any of them, actually? What questions do you have? Let's go start there. Because spirit just like goes and like takes it away. And this could be the whole session without people being able to ask a question. So I have to temper it sometimes and
Yeah,
check in.
which I'm like totally cool with. It's like you can go as far as you want. Um, when it comes to questions, I think the new venture with my sister, I don't really have a lot of questions around that. I think that feels like it's just like I've got to just get it together and like make it happen.
I'm going to be the one to take the lead, and you're just going to like kind of follow suit a lot of time. And you're okay with that because your energy is focused on other things.
Yeah, exactly. So then I have my main business. Questions with that would be like if there's anything that's holding me back to go to that next level. Um, yeah, like I feel like I'm in that stage where I'm making some changes, but also like I can see where there's some missing pieces that I need to update. So it's definitely about calling in new support and new team. But yeah, any of that.
Spirit is saying there's some changes that need to happen with the people that you work with because some of them aren't on the same energy level that you're on to move
Okay.
to the next step. Um, some of them, frankly, may be a little lazy. It's what's coming through. The motivation just isn't there because there's no ownership of it because it's not theirs, right? And so that particular person will do better in something that is theirs specifically because then the drive and the motivation will be there. So, and it feels as though you know who this is. So, Spirit saying it is sometimes you just have to cut things that aren't fitting,
Yeah.
and that's what you got to do. And you're good at that. Like you're good at being like, oh, that doesn't fit, that doesn't work, let's move some parts, let's move some pieces. But you also have a big heart. And you know, sometimes that slows you down. It doesn't stop you fully, but it slows you down a little bit. And so with compassion and love, you can move away from each other or decide to part ways, you know, with well wishes and compassion and love, but know that it is time, is
Okay.
what's, yeah. Once those changes happen, then things just pick up and they start to go in the way in which you've been wanting them to.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it definitely resonates. Absolutely resonates. I think it's one of those things of like not wanting to let people go, like because I know that they need the help and I can help, but then it's also like that the level of standards of who I want to work with
Yeah.
and how yeah, it's yeah, super interesting.
Also know that if this was the path and they were meant to be let go or you know move from a certain project or job, it's all for the service of their betterment, it's all for the service of their higher self, because there may be a lesson, yeah, in this case, yes, there could be a lesson for them that they need to learn. And if it doesn't happen with you at this time, it may happen with somebody else and it may be a harder situation, right? So even if you may feel empathy and you know have certain feelings around it, just know you are in service of their higher self. So that helps people, right, sometimes conceptualize that everything that we do is for the greater conscious good.
Yeah, even though we can't see it all.
Yes. What other questions do you have?
I think on a personal level, I have questions about like relationships
Mm-hmm.
and babies.
And babies. Are you seeing someone right now?
No,
Okay. There's someone in your field. Do you have a crush?
no.
Okay. I see somebody in your field coming through. Do you want to be in a relationship? Because there's a part of you that does, and there's a part of you that doesn't. There's a part of the part of you that doesn't says, I've been doing really great on my own for a very long time. Do I really need somebody there? Will they actually get in the way of what I'm trying to accomplish? And so while it feels like it could be an added benefit, it actually feels more of a heavy weight to have somebody there. And Spirit is saying that there has to be a little bit of a perspective change, because you are you no matter what. You will be doing you no matter what. You are on purpose. You are clear in your direction. You know what you want to offer and how you want to impact the world. So finding somebody, asking for somebody that can match you in that, and not meaning that they also, like know their impact, but actually that they can hold the big energy that you have around your purpose and your direction and complement it, can be with that, cannot feel threatened by it, because it feels as though you've been in some relationships that were threatened by who you were and like what you had to offer, because you are a dynamic person. You have big energy behind you. You are being guided. There's like a force, like you cannot be stopped. And you've been in some relationships that were threatened by it because it made them look at themselves and feel less than with themselves. And so what you need is somebody that's very sure of who they are and how they show up in the world. And but what Spirit's saying is, if you want that, to call that in that way, instead of feeling like, oh, if I have a partner, it'll just drag me down. It'll just make me feel like I won't be able to focus on these things and I want this thing, because what I'm saying, Christina, is that it's available to you. There is a guy there that will match the energy that you hold and will be able to where you can share your life in a beautiful way, that you don't feel like you're being taken from, that it feels like it's being added to your life, and it's available for you. Yeah, all of that is available for you.
Nice, thank you.
Are you okay? They're saying set that intention, and then you've tried the apps before here and there. Yeah, we all know how we feel about the apps.
Yeah.
So what you can do is set an intention before you put yourself out there in a new way, because it's a new you with a new perspective, with new energy behind you, asking for new things,
Okay.
right? And so doing so, but it feels as though this guy's going to come in through some networking, because you do that really well too, right? Like you network a lot, you meet people, and it's also just natural with the work that you do, that you're constantly meeting people. There's always like new energy, like it feels like revolving, like in and out, like moving through, and just, yeah, talking and letting people know that you're actually open, because you haven't done that either.
Yep, you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, so it's all available for you.
Love it, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, other than if there's anything else that's holding me back from going to that next level, then that's pretty much it.
It's just
That's like any healing that I need to do, or anything that like perspective shifts or anything like that I need to be.
sometimes you get tunnel vision focus on because you have a lot of projects going on and they're big projects. So sometimes you get tunnel vision, and Spirit's just saying like you don't have to like close the tunnel completely. What you have to do is just open it so the scope is wider. So you're letting more in. Also, like you don't let a lot of people help you. So Spirit's saying let people help you. And it's not like there's a piece to having the right people on your team that you can trust, that also holds the same vision that you do. And right now you just don't have that. So once you begin to have that, you can trust that things will get done that you used to have to do. Okay. Because you are meant to let some of the things that you're carrying go so that you can bring in new, fresh energy so that you can move forward. Right.
Yep.
And so again, you're very dynamic. You know what you want done and how you want to do it, and you know how you want to help heal the world. And so you got to let people help you so that your resources, your energy is on what matters and not the little piddly things that don't, right? Because we can get caught up in some of our own perfectionism, right? That's a theme for you. And so just letting that go and allowing somebody else to take attention to the detail, because really at the end of the day, it's about your intention in it and the energy you put in it so that you can give.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So instead of getting tunnel vision focus, expanding that, allowing it to open, and allowing, just trusting yourself and knowing that you're putting the right pieces and people together in place so that they can do the things that you don't have to do anymore.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Let me just check in and see if there's anything else that Spirit has for you. You need a vacation, girl, they're saying. There's vacation. Even if it's like a weekend trip with some of your girlfriends, it's important for you to like shake it up a little, because again, you're being asked to do big things in this next phase of your life, and you want to come in with a clear head, a clear heart, fully aligned. And so taking this break before you do so is, they're saying it's imperative to your being.
Yeah.
So go on that weekend trip with your girlfriends, really be able to relax and enjoy and like read a book for leisure as opposed to, for yeah. You've always loved reading, but everything you've been reading is for purpose and for intention. They want you to just like sit on a beach and relax and read for the enjoyment of reading for you. Okay. So definitely go on that vacation, have that clear head, get full alignment, body, heart, mind, spirit, and then go with intention to what you're going to do, who you want to date, what you want to call in this next phase of your life, because things are still going to be moving fast. And 3 months from now, it'll look completely different than today.
Amazing.
A good way. So I'm going to go ahead and close your records now. They're just loving up on you. They're loving up on you so much. They're like clapping for you. They're cheering you on. They're just so excited for this next phase of your life. Are you thinking about moving?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not done. So have you found, if you're thinking about moving, yes, it's the right decision to move. The new energy is a big yes. It feels like a bigger space, a brighter space, a space that feels inspirational when you're in it. That's really important for you because it's your surroundings. Everything affects you, even though sometimes you may not think it does. So having that space with a beautiful garden, outdoor space, it feels like for you is really important, and you will get it if you haven't found it yet.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I've been looking.
Are you working with somebody? Are you working with a realtor or? Okay. Tell people that you're looking, but also put the intention out there, and to do this, of what you want to call in, visualize it, feel the feelings of being in that space, and already inject it with love, even though you haven't found it yet, and it'll come to you faster. So, yep, they're like, she's moving, big yes. Okay, that's the last little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and close the records. Thank you, masters, teachers, and loved ones. Christine's records are now closed. All right, your records are closed.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That was so good.
Yeah, how was that?
Awesome. So many unique little pieces and so much resonated. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you.
Welcome. I'm so happy to do that. It's so fun, right? It's
Yeah.
fun for me to one, I feel very blessed and grateful that people are willing to share their energy with me, right? Because I get a glimpse into who you are, right? And all that you are, and all your beauty, and all your joy and everything that you are. And so I feel very grateful to be able to have the opportunity to do that. So thank you.
My pleasure, and thank you. Thank you for coming on here and giving us so much of your heart and soul today. It's just beautiful. I'll make sure that all the links are in the show notes so people can book a session with you or they can book the Deeper Sense of Self package. I'll share all your links of where to follow you, all the fun things. Is there anywhere in particular that you would love me to send or where you hang out the most?
No, actually, I'm, one man shop and I am who I am. So reach out to me through email is
Yeah.
probably the way, but
Yeah.
I'm on things, as we all have to be at this day and age.
Amazing. All right. Well, I'll make sure that I share everything with everyone and hopefully some of my beautiful listeners reach out to you. But thank you so much for sharing all of your beautiful wisdom with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Christine. So lovely to be here. Thank you.